love giving dinner parties. And I still use Anne Schreiber's cookbook. So, the dinner is ready. The wine is chilling. I'm waiting for my husband, Mark, to come home. Our dinner guests love writing wishes and sticking them in the magic chicken. I just put my wish there, and it says, I'd like to write a solo show that's entertaining and inspiring. I wonder what it would look like. Beth, when the waiter asks if you want a drink before dinner, don't order a silly cocktail. Tell him you'll have scotch and water. My father and I are going out to dinner. Just the two of us. I am 16 years old and am back home again in Indiana after a high school summer program where I'm learning to become an actress. My mother and brother Bob are up north at Stony Lake. At breakfast, my father had said, Beth, you're getting all grown up. Let's go out to dinner. Get dressed up. I'll take you to Evan's Supper Club. I spend most of the day getting ready. I do my hair and nails. I put on my first black dress, purchased secretly. I put on Revlon's Fire and Ice lipstick. Black mascara. I splash some Chanel No. 5 in my pulse points. And when Daddy walks in, he says, Beth, you're beautiful. So sophisticated. Let's go. At the supper club. I'll have scotch and water, please. Oh, Daddy, it's wonderful being in such an Oh, thank you. I don't like the taste, but I love the taste of being sophisticated and taken for my older than my 16 years. When was the last time you wanted to be older than you really are? Well, in my case, it was decades ago. Now, I was born the same year as Wonder Woman. Oh, no. You're not going to give these people your real age, are you? Nobody does that in this country. Let me introduce you to that voice. That voice is actually the voice in my head. Years ago, I was driving along the coast of France, sun in my face, wind in my hair, but I could not decipher the French road signs. And this voice in my head kept telling me what an idiot I was. Finally, I pulled to the side of the road, came to a screeching halt, and addressed the voice in my head. I said, Tilly, fermez la bouche. Yeah, we were in France. Naming her Tilly after my great-grandma was a breeze. Getting rid of her, impossible, given the slightest provocation. She tells me what a fool I am, what an idiot I am. Okay, sometimes she consoles me, but mainly she is my worst critic. Oh, well, thanks for the intro. Now, I know this is Beth's show, but I'm proud to have an influence in her life. Act your age. Did you ever hear that? Oh, of course you did. When you were a little kid, sitting in the back seat of the car making fart noises on your bed. And your mom or your dad says, act your age. Well, eventually, you grow up, or hopefully you grow up. And when your mom and dad's voice disappears, that's when we come into your life. We're here to protect you to take care of you, to keep you from doing things that are silly or dangerous or downright foolish. Now, whenever I say to Beth, act your age, I'm doing it for her own good. Now, I'm going to let her get on with the show, but if you have a strong inner voice in your head, you will already have turned off your cell phone. When we were performing off-Broadway on West 42nd Street, Siri interrupted our show and practically ruined it. So turn off those phones. We can wait. Thanks, Tilly. Now, where was I? Okay, my mother lived to be 93. And I want to live at least another 20 years. Oh, you're teasing. She's joking. No. What I say is, we need to forget the birth date that's on our driver's license. We need to live our lives with passion. Well, of course, we have to get our end-of-life affairs in order and clear out that clutter and tackle fitness. Otherwise, you might end up at the orthopedic surgeon like I did. Mine is Dr. Weber, and in her office, she shows me my x-rays. Well, Beth, you broke your humerus bone, skiing, and your collarbone, skiing, and 2 ribs, sailing, and you broke your humerus bone and your collarbone again, sailing, skiing. Oh, Beth, here are the results of your bone density test. You have osteoporosis. Oh, no. Oh, Dr. Weber, I'm going to be like that old woman I saw all hunched over. Beth, unless you start working out, you will completely break down. Dr. Weber scared me into action. I started stretching my hands and lifting weights, but it was so boring. I was tempted to believe Tilly, who said, oh, at our age, we shouldn't have to work out. I say, put down the kettlebells. Put on the kettle. Have a cup of tea or a cocktail. It's 5 o'clock someplace. Tilly, go do some squats. I discovered water aerobics. Now just imagine a swimming pool with 30 women my age. We shouldn't be seen in bikinis, and we're not. I'm going to get into the pool now. But I can't see what's happening underwater. We're supposed to pike backwards? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. This is difficult. But eventually I get the hang of it. And before long, my body can do things underwater it can't do on dry land. I'm surrounded by women with artificial hips and bum knees. We're working out, we're having fun, we're acting our age, and we're doing it together. Oh, fun. Now, there is one exercise that I do approve of. Women our age frequently hear the call of nature in the middle of the night. Thanks to Dr. Cagle, I sleep soundly. Well, I'm not going to go into the details of this exercise right now, but just let me tell you, I could be doing it right now and you wouldn't even know. In fact, I am doing it right now. Tightens you up. Oh, you know where. Great for your sex life, if you have one. And otherwise, you'll just sleep soundly. Oh. Tilly, you make me smile. Well, good. Because when our mouth goes up, our brain gets the message. Did you know our brain doesn't know whether that smile is genuine or fake? We start to feel better. You don't believe me? You try it. I call it sass. Smile and stand straight. Well, I always smile when I think of Mark. Oh, Beth, you're getting ahead of yourself. Why don't you tell these folks a little bit about your life before you start talking about the love of your life? Tilly, I'm trying. Okay. I live in 8 houses and go to 8 schools by age 18. No, I'm not an army brat. My father moves us all around the country as he pioneers a crazy new invention called television. In each new school, I'm the outsider, and I want so much to fit in. It doesn't get easier as I get older. On the contrary, it gets more difficult. We begin in New York, where I was born, and then we move to Park Ridge, Illinois, where I had my first performance. I organize a talent show. When our moms and dads are seated in the driveway, we open the garage door. If you remember the Second World War, you'll recognize, now is the hour when we must say goodbye. Afterwards, Daddy takes everyone for ice cream. It's a delicious success. And then he moves my family to San Marino in Southern California, where I plan to continue my theatrical career and marry Roy Rogers. What? He's married? But she calls herself Dale Evans. Oh, Roy, you broke this poor girl's heart. By high school, now I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Though academically I'm fine, socially I'm still the outsider. My mother's bridge partner persuades her pimply-faced son to invite me to the prom. My first long dress, strapless. How did I hold it up? After the dance, his father drives us home. Bill walks me to the front door. He stands there, looking up at me expectantly. As I lean down to accept my first real kiss, Daddy turns the porch lights out. Thank you, Daddy. 3 years later, I'm doing really well. It's my senior year of high school, and my father moves us to St. Joseph, Michigan. My senior year, I give up. I'll become a bookworm and a wallflower. And then my mother says, Beth, dear, you're the new girl, but don't hold back. Find someone in a group who looks as miserable as you feel. Start a conversation. You'll both feel better. I take my mother's advice. A teenager does that, and it works. I get the lead in the senior play. I'm one of the speakers at graduation, and then off to Northwestern to become an actress. But Robert Schneiderman's method acting class practically destroys my dream. I simply cannot be a fried egg on stage. So I transferred to the University of Michigan. I get some fabulous roles. In George Bernard Shaw's Misalliance, I am Lena. I am a woman of the world. Strong, independent, all that a woman ought to be. What a role. And I could have had a real-life role model. Jeanette Rankin, first woman ever elected to Congress from the state of Montana, was my cousin. I could have met her back then, but I was just too busy doing my own things. I think that's pretty much acting your age in your 20s. Now I regret it terribly, but of course it's way too late. After I graduate, I head to New York. I think I'll get a job in advertising while auditioning for Broadway. At my first interview at Young and Rubicam, I type 8 words a minute. Eventually, Suddenly, I am hired to work as a receptionist at 30 Rock. Well, back then it's still called 30 Rock, Miller Plaza, for Bristol Myers. Does she or doesn't she? Only her hairdresser knows, for sure. They want to upgrade me to telephone operator. Now, I am a college graduate, but like many women of my generation, I don't flaunt my brains. In case I keep my Phi Beta Kappa key pinned to my maiden form bra. When my summer roommates go back to school, I get married. Yeah, back then you didn't live with someone unless you were really bohemian. The night before we're going to tie the knot, he gets cold feet. But his friends who are going to stand up for it say, "Oh, don't disappoint that poor girl." So walking home after work up Fifth Avenue, I take a ride at 82nd and I decide if when I get to Park Avenue the light is green, I'll let him off the hook. And if it's red, I let a traffic light determine my destiny. 2 months later, he left. He never came back. The marriage was eventually annulled, which means legally it never happened. I did get cast in an off-Broadway show once. So, no career, lost in love, washed up at age 24. I returned to Michigan, to St. Joe, where my mother said, "Beth, dear, I'm just going to destroy these wedding photographs. Remember, legally, it never happened." I go off to graduate school, where I meet Anne and Sue. In June of 1967, the phone rings. "Hello? Mother? Daddy? My father has suffered a major heart attack. Oh, we never dreamed he would die so young, age 55. But we all knew what he wanted. When I'm gone, I want to be cremated. No tombstone. I think cemeteries are a waste of good land. No funeral. Oh, just invite our friends over to the house and bring out the scotch." As difficult as that is to do, we followed his wishes. Now, St. Joe is a very small community. They have no cremation facilities. So the funeral home has explained that they will be taking him early in the morning to Chicago. At 5 o'clock, my mother awakens me. Beth, dear, wake up. Beth, I want you to drive me to the funeral home. Everything has happened so quickly. I haven't even had a chance to say goodbye to your father. We don't even get dressed. We drive to the funeral home and park in the empty lot. Oh, Beth, you're in graduate school now? That makes your father so proud. I know, Mother. But you know, dear, your father and I haven't been getting along for quite some while. I know, Mother. But what you didn't know, dear, is that 4 months ago, your father left me. He got into that silly blue sports car and started driving to California. Halfway there, the car broke down. He called. He said, "Vera, I'm coming home, if you'll have me." And Beth, since then, things have been so much better. After all those years of his moving us from New York all around the country and his changing jobs, and now he's gone. Just then, I see the hearse pull from behind the funeral home and stop at the side door. The driver goes inside. He comes back a couple of minutes later with another man, wheeling a gurney. On it, a casket. "Mother, there's Daddy." "Where?" "Oh, yes, of course." No, Beth, I don't want to get out of the car. I'm in my nightgown." and he is gone. I adore my father, and I wish I had asked him about his intelligence work in the Second World War, but I was acting my age as a 20-year-old, and I was totally absorbed in my own life, and, well, I like to think he'd be proud when eventually I do land a job working in television over in Chicago at WBBM-TV on the Lee Phillips Show. Oh yeah, just about everybody coming through Chicago meets Lee. I meet Liza Minnelli, Pat Nixon, Sammy Davis Jr. He's a sweetheart. And I date Tom, Dick, and then along comes Dan, a dashing Swiss attorney. Well, not dashing actually, the Swiss don't dash. And I'm not head over heels, but age is creeping up on me. I'm almost 28 years old. Dan knows I love theater, and he gets tickets as he lures me to Zurich for the hottest show in town. We are in the first row for When the Moon is in the Seventh House and Jupiter aligns with Mars. After the show, the actors come to the very edge of the stage and look down at us and say, "Come on up on stage, dance with us, let the light shine in." As I start to stand, I feel Dan's arm. He holds me back for years. Life in rocky Switzerland is rocky. But after one failed marriage, the one that legally never happened, I am determined to make this work. We do have two wonderful children. Sarah and Thomas keep me afloat. When Sarah is 5, she looks at me one day and says, "Mommy, what is a soul?" A soul, Sarah? Well, a soul is a part of us, but well, you can't see it. It's kind of like the air we breathe. A soul can break, just like Christopher broke your wrist, and a soul can heal. And Sarah, a soul is what makes us whole. When I grow up, I want to be a soul doctor. And she is. Her younger brother, Thomas, wanders away frequently, once in a terrible snowstorm. Thomas, you need to know where you live. Now, you live at Huser Tobel Way. Now, let's practice. Hello, little boy. What's your address? I don't have a dress. I wear trousers. That's Thomas, always ready with a quick retort. It is 1978. I am 37 years old, but I feel ancient. I live in an apron, pruning the rose bushes while my brain goes to seed. One day, I head off to the fish market and order ein halbes Kilo rote Arsch, bitteschön. And only when the fish shop goes completely quiet do I realize I have just ordered half a kilo of red ass. I blush right down to mine and head home, fix a hot lunch. You see, my kids are the Swiss school system, which means they have classes 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, with 2 hours for a hot lunch program, provided by Mom. One hot day, I scrap the hot lunch and serve tuna salad, sandwiches, carrot sticks, and yogurt, and Sarah's friend Emily says, Frau Urach, ein kaltes Mittagessen ist ungesund. A cold lunch is unhealthy? That 7-year-old puts me in a tailspin. I have to leave. That's when I go to France. That's when Tilly follows me home to Zurich, where you ought to be making a nice, quiet, peaceful house and concentrate on Kinder, Kuche, Kirche. Oh yeah, Kinder, Kuche, Kirche. when Sarah is 15. Now I'm 45. She looks at me one day and says, "Mommy, you're not happy as a Hausfrau." I think she senses that my soul is breaking. A couple of weeks later, I'm at a dinner party, seated next to a staid Swiss banker. Is there any other kind? When he learns that I'm originally from New York, he says, "Oh, I spoke in New York not so long ago. I was very well prepared, but then I realized that when we Swiss speak in English in public, wir sind ein wenig schwer." Heavy is right. Wait, that's what I can do. Maybe I can have a career helping the reserved Swiss speak in public. Oh yeah, you're way too old. Okay, a couple of days later, I'm at a luncheon, seated next to a powerful businesswoman. So tell me, what do you do? Oh, I have 2 children and a dog. I train people to become effective speakers. Fabelhaft. You must do a symposium at my next international conference. Send me your brochure. I don't have a brochure. I don't even have a company. That night at dinner, Thomas says, "Hey, Mom, why don't you start a company? You could call it Speak for Yourself." He's right. You know, my kids are teenagers. They don't need me around the clock anymore or all the time. And if I don't do something, I'm going to go crazy. Oh, yeah. So you're going to buy a red power blazer with those power shoulders. Beth, you're too old. Persevere. I get my first client. She is petrified of speaking. But after working with me, she is so satisfied that she spreads the word. Before long, I am giving lectures and workshops in Switzerland and then around the world. My book, Speaking Globally, is a hit. Oh yes, I'm acting my age, I'm finding my stride. And you know, it helps in Europe and Asia to have a little gravitas. Whenever I do a business trip, I always carve out some time for myself. I walk the Great Wall. I marvel at the Taj Mahal. I do it all alone, but I'm never lonely. When I travel, I have rules. Never eat dinner in my hotel room. Always eat in a restaurant. Never take a book along. Sit, observe, listen. Let the ambiance seep into my soul. Occasionally, I do lose my way. Now, I'm in Paris working, and I'm staying at a little hotel on the left bank. I go out early in the morning for a jog, up one cobblestone street, down another, and I'm lost. Oh, there's a gendarme. Je cherche le jardin du Luxembourg. Bonjour, madame. Je cherche le jardin du Luxembourg pour y faire mon jogging. Bonjour, madame. Bonjour, monsieur. Tout droite et ensuite à gauche. Merci, monsieur. I really am a woman of the world. And now you know to begin every conversation in French with bonjour. The following winter, I'm on the top of the mountain looking down on creation. And as I start to ski, a hotshot skis over the back of my skis. Oh! 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 My arm! Oh, blood runs down my face. Eventually, I am airlifted by helicopter to the hospital, where the nurse greets me at the door and says, "Bonjour, madame." You Blessé. Wounded in French. My mother remarries, and Chuck becomes my children's beloved grandfather. And then when my mother turns 80, her health starts to go downhill. And every once in a while I get a phone call from my brother Bob, who never remembers the 6-hour time change between Michigan and Switzerland. Hello, hey. Hey sis, did I wake you up? Bob, it's 3 o'clock in the morning here. Oh yeah. Oh listen sis, mom's had a heart attack. Okay Bob, I'll fly over tomorrow. 2 years later. Hello? Cancer? A double mastectomy? Okay, Bob. I'm on my way. Another 2 years. Hello? Oh no. A stroke? Okay, Bob. I'm coming. After each of these trips, I return to Switzerland, where I'm surviving. Just. Finally, I persuade Dan to go to couples therapy. He agrees to go. He agrees to go if I agree not to talk about finances or sex. After our third session, our marriage counselor dies. Dan, I want a trial separation. Niemals. Entweder we stick it out or we divorce. Dan, I want a divorce. I remove his arm. When we tell the children, Sarah, now 23, weeps. Thomas, age 19, says, "What took you so long?" Thomas is a student at UCLA, as far away from Switzerland as he can get. He majors in art and vengeance, and designs skateboards and tattoos, his own. I go to visit. Hi, Thomas. How are your classes? How are your roommates? Do you have a girlfriend? Mom, back off. It's none of your business. Okay, Thomas. I promise I'll back off. You know, it's very difficult not being able to talk to my son about anything, but I realize that he needs to grow up on his terms, not mine. After my divorce is final, I'm at another dinner party, seated next to a debonair gentleman with a twinkle in his eye. At the dessert course, as our hands raise, sparks fly. I may be 55, but I'm smitten. He pursues me with flowers, chocolates, a Dell computer. I play it cool. Finally, after a lovely meal and a walk along the Seine, I succumb to his advances in a hotel suite with a view of the Eiffel Tower. The next morning, after café, olé, oli, he says, "Honey Beth, you know I'm crazy about you. Tell me you'll be my girlfriend on this side of the Atlantic. I already have one on the other side." Tilly, where were you when I needed you? Oh, I was smitten. I'm through with love. We'll never fall again. My mother sings another tune. After Grandpa Chuck dies, my mother moves into a retirement center. In the next apartment is a retired Presbyterian minister. One night he knocks at her door. Hello, Vera? Is my tie straight? It is now, Albert. Vera, would you like to come down to supper with me? Before long, they are a couple. And then a call from my brother. Hey, listen, sis, we've got a real problem here. They keep tumbling out of bed. Mom and Albert, they're just sleeping in one of her twin beds. What should I do? Bob, buy them a bigger bed. For my mother's 90th birthday, I fly over and take her and Albert out to dinner. Then we come back to the apartment and sit, and I turn off the Weather Channel. And my mother says, Albert, do you dance? No, Vera, I never did learn. Well, I don't know how, at the age of 90, I could fall in love with a man who doesn't dance. Well, Vera, if you can teach me, and if the good Lord is willing, I could learn to dance. Oh, Albert, you make me feel so young. Oh, Vera, eyes of blue. Could she? Tilly, it's just amazing. They remember all the words to all those old songs. Well, of course, Beth, because as we age, music gets the memory in gear. Now, I want you to be kind to your memory, Beth. Don't ever use those expressions like having a senior moment. Just be patient with your brain. And then whatever it is that you're searching for will surface readily. Now where are we? Tilly, we're off to another birthday party. When my ex-husband turns 60, he has a big birthday party for all of his friends from all around the world. Why do I want to go? We're divorced for one reason. I want to see my son and my daughter in the same room at the same time. So I check into the Mohawk Mountain Lodge in New York, and then I go into the great room. Oh, there's a beautiful stone fireplace and a blazing fire, and here comes my daughter. Mom, welcome. Oh, Mom, it's so good to see you. Mom, guess what? I'm in love. Well, Sarah, that's a fabulous welcome. Well, tell me a little bit about him. What's his name? Her name is Felicia. And here she is. Hi. My name's Felicia. I just want you to know I adore your daughter. She's just like a gift of God. Now come on, Lovey, we gotta get upstairs and get all dolled up for your dad's big party. I'm gonna wear my favorite color, leopard. So Sarah, where's your brother? Hi, Mom. Oh, here comes my tall, handsome son. I would like nothing more than to give him a great big hug, but having promised 5 years ago that I would back off, I settle for a smile. We all go upstairs and get changed, and then we come down and we're ushered into a private dining room, and Dan has seated us as far apart as he can. Thomas is way over there. Felicia and Sarah are there. I'm here. As soon as I can, I leave the dining room. I return to look at the fire. The coals are smoldering, so am I. My ex-husband is still the same pompous prig. My son is still distant. And my beautiful, talented daughter has found her bliss with a woman. I mean, how did that happen? because she saw that her father and I always quarreled, that we never touched because she went to Sarah Lawrence. Here she comes. Oh, hi, Mom. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have waited, but I wanted to tell you my wonderful news in person. Well, Sarah, how long have you and Felicia been together? 1 month. Well, Sarah, you know, I'm all in favor of love, but you're going to have to give me a little bit of time to get used to this. It's not going to be easy for you to be a gay couple in this society, and it's going to take me a while before I can say, my daughter is a lesbian. But you love each other? Well, that's really what counts. So, Felicia is the brash, outspoken breath of fresh air from Brooklyn joining the little family. What's not to like? Later, I remember something that wonderful friend and minister Jim Kidd said. Let it go. Let it be. Let it come. Let it go, Dan. Let it be, Sarah and Felicia. Let it come, my relationship with my son. It sounds simple. 3 years later, I decide it's time to go back. Now, with Thomas in LA and Sarah in New York and my mother over in Michigan, Chicago is my kind of town. Chicago is, oh no. You're leaving a flourishing career and an international lifestyle to go to Chicago? Yes, Tilly, I'm shedding my corporate blazer to blaze a creative life, and I'm going to sail. Oh no. Act your age. Sailing is for youngsters. At the Columbia Yacht Club, I see a tall woman with a clipboard who says, hello, are you here to sail or just to have fun? A charming man waves me over, and that's how I become crew on his sailboat. Well, rail meet, actually. The only thing I need to do is whenever the boat comes about, I scamper from one side of the boat to the other. At the end of several weeks, I am black and blue from port to starboard. At a party at the Columbia Yacht Club, I stand holding a full glass of Chardonnay. The woman next to me says, why aren't you drinking? Well, in Switzerland, when you're at a party like this, nobody even takes a sip unless somebody has given a toast or said cheers or santé. Really? Well then, down the hatch. Up yours! Oh no, I got the right direction, I just got the wrong expression. Over in Michigan, Mother and Albert are inseparable until his cold-hearted son moves Albert back to Kalamazoo, where Albert dies 2 months later. Then the phone. Hey, Beth. It's Mom. I hold my mother as she takes her very last breath. It's fitting. She was with me when I took my first. For her funeral, we are all involved. My brother deals with the funeral director. Yes, Mr. Rankin, what sort of an urn would you like for your dearly departed beloved? Onyx, marble, plastic. Our mother loves plastic. Easy to clean, lasts forever. The following summer, on a warm, balmy night, we walked to the end of the Ludington Pier, where my mother had spent her childhood diving and swimming. And as the sun magnificently sets, I carefully slide her ashes into the water. Back in Chicago, I'm still on my own. Now, Tilly thinks I should meet men at conferences or through friends, but I say no. I'm going to try Match.com. I email my children and my son calls. Mom, only meet people in the daylight and never give your real last name. After a decade, my son is my first responder! And he continues to be. And then Sarah checks in. Mom, why don't you just write a list of what it really is that you're looking for in a man, and then pin it to your front door. And then every morning before you leave your wonderful loft, oh yeah, and then I get down to the sidewalk and say, hi, you're tall, lanky, look intelligent. You want to have coffee? Good friend Jim wants to give me his sailboat. Oh no! Wow, what'd you do with a sailboat? Tilly, I will sail. Yes, Jim, I love your boat. We seal the deal at the yacht club over a double whiskey. I like whiskey by now. But I'm not going to be able to sail single-handedly. How difficult is it going to be to find a crew? There's a knock at my door. It's the man from upstairs. Tall, lanky. Hi, come on in. Hi, how's it going? Mutual friends gave me a book about sailing to give to you. Do you sail? Oh, yeah, thank you, yes. A friend just gave me his little boat. Do you sail? Well, I don't mind messing around on boats, but jazz is my real love. I love a Gershwin tune. How about you? Maybe you'd like to come sailing on my little boat. Maybe you could be my jazz buddy. Before long, Mark and I are sailing up a storm. Well, not literally. And then we decide we need to get our own boat. We find the perfect boat, and we name her Speakeasy, after my business and my book, Speaking Globally, and of course, Chicago's history of speakeasies. And our first cruise across Lake Michigan, when we get to Ludington, I wave, hi, Mother. I'm in love. Oh, yes. And then, after a while, we have the most amazing time. It's a little bit of upstairs, downstairs, and then I decide to move up to Mark's loft. Oh no! What about our stuff? Our 50 Ferragamo shoeboxes. Well, Tilly, I have to downsize. I get rid of so much. I sell my mother's 18 place settings of sterling silver. I never liked the pattern. And oh, this blue dress, I have to wear it with Spanx. Oh no, life's too short for Spanx. Recycle. What about this chicken? Oh, that was an impulse purchase. Mark christened it Make a Wish on the chicken. That's a keeper. Oh yeah, listen, let me give you some advice. Don't leave that cluttering, reeling. Get rid of it. Get rid of all of that stuff. You will feel so much satisfaction. Now, when I open my closet, I can see everything I own. And I love everything I see. Life at this age is a loft in the city, a boat in the harbor, and true love at last. Hey, Beth, why don't we get married on 10-10-10? 10, 10, 10? Yeah. So we'll remember it when we're old. Oh no. You're not going to talk about getting old, are you, Beth? Tilly, only 30% of all Americans even have a living will. Well, you better get one, because you could kick the bucket at any moment. You remember that horrible trip you had across Lake Michigan, going from Michigan back to Chicago? Oh, yes. Mark had checked the weather. Hey, Beth, there are 2 storms headed to us over here in Michigan. One coming from Wisconsin, one coming from Illinois. We'll sail between. It's a 12-hour trip, and so we leave before sunrise, cruise down the river from South Haven, and when we get to Lake Michigan, it shimmers like glass. An hour later, it's still dead calm. And then the wind picks up a little. Yeah, Mark, let's raise the sail. Oh, and the winds and the waves have put, yes, honey, this is wonderful. I can turn off the engine. Now we're really sailing. Oh, this is glorious. And then there's more wind and more weather and more. Mark, we have to reef, double reef. Yes, oh, Mark, the waves are now 10 feet tall. Mark, I'm not strong enough. Oh my God, water is rushing over the bow. I have to close the hatch. Oh, there goes the boat. Oh no, we hang on for dear life. We wait. I pray. I remember something else that Jim Kidd once said. If you're not scared shitless at least twice a year, you're not really alive. Oh, we're scared. Mark, way in the distance, I see a dozen light gray spires. Chicago's skyscrapers beckoning us home. Oh, we still have hours ahead of us and miles to sail, but we're going to make it. You know, to act your age at this stage in life, we need a little excitement. Well, maybe not as much excitement as that crossing, but something that makes us want to get up in the morning. Some of my friends, Chris, Martin, Gloria, don't have that option anymore. We're still here. We have to live our lives with passion. For a long time, I said, oh, you know, I could do my solo show anytime. And then I realized, no, I need to do it now. What about you? What's beckoning for your attention? What is it? You know what it is. What's holding you back? Maybe the voice in their heads. At the end of the show, take that strip of paper, write a wish on it. Now, make it really specific. We'd all like world peace, but that's not going to happen right away. So think of something that you would like to accomplish or experience between now and the end of 2017, and then stick it on the chicken and watch what happens. You know, one of the advantages of living longer lives is that we have more years in which to realize our dreams. 2 years ago, one of my wishes came true. We did Route 66. We started a block from where we live in Printers Row on Balboa, the official beginning. We ended in Santa Monica, and on the way back, we made a little detour. At an hour east of Santa Fe in New Mexico, we discovered a little town, 6,500 feet above sea level. To the west, the beginning of the Rocky Mountains. To the east, meadows that stretch to the Mississippi. Do you know what the word meadow is in Spanish? Las Vegas. We discovered the original Las Vegas. There's a university there, and it has become a wonderful place where we now spend part of the year. Mark picked up his clarinet. He put it down when he went off to college. He's now with the Highlands Jazz Ensemble, and he started his own jazz group. Contrafact. I'm writing for the local newspaper. Beth speaks for herself. And I'm creating my second solo show about Jeanette Rankin, intended as a celebratory piece. I figured, you know, Jeanette was elected first woman in Congress in 1916, and exactly a century later, our first woman president. That didn't happen. So I'm rewriting the show. This time I'm calling it Jeanette Rankin Fights Back. And since she was a lifelong pacifist, that title is significant. So, what about you? What is it you really want to do? Yeah, and you better ask them if they're acting their age. And are you acting your age? Oh, Tilly, give me one more minute. When Jeanette was 90, she was asked, would you do it all over again? And she said, of course I'd do it all over again. And the next time, I'd be nastier. What was she asking her age? Are you acting your age? What? Oh, and all this act your age. Tilly, sometimes inside I still feel like that 16-year-old, thrilled to go out to dinner with her father. Sometimes I feel like that student at the University of Michigan who says, I am a woman of the world. Sometimes I feel like that woman with that arm holding her back. Or the woman who says, I am not a Hausfrau. Or the woman at the age of 62, oh yeah, who returns to Chicago to blaze a new life. Tilly, you're going to be with me forever, aren't you? Well, of course. And now, let me ask you one more time. Beth, are you acting your age? Oh, yes, Tilly. Right here in Ann Arbor, I am 76 and I'm acting my age.